Okay, and turn just a little bit. So I'm only gonna lay in maybe about 9 strokes, and then we're gonna get them all nice and numb. But I just want to catch some of this that we drew in there, make sure that we have a little bit of a spine going on. And then of course I like to prick before numbing just to get them extra numb. So I figured if we're gonna prick before numbing either way, might as well do it with a little pigment, right? So we're ready, set, go. And I've learned you get the most pigment in is as you prick, and it's just a down, flick forward, down, flick forward. But then as you're pricking, instead of starting here and then moving towards yourself, if you actually, as you're pricking, you move away from yourself, it gets a pigment in faster. So that's what we're gonna do today. Because of this song, well, first of all, my kids think it's watermelon sugar pie, right? But because of this song, they call watermelon sugar. Oh, watermelon sugar pie. They're so cute. Yay for 2- and 3-year-olds. How you doing?
Yeah, do you want eyes open or closed during this process?
Let's do closed if that's all right.
Yep.
What's the pricking pain scale 1 to 10?
Are you actually pricking right now?
Yeah. Okay, well, good.
I can feel them now. Okay.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
They're like,
you're like, wait.
2.
Okay, perfect. Well, I promise we'll get you like really numb in just a minute. I know probably different areas are a little more sensitive. Just doing enough to where we'll open the skin for the numbing. And probably a lot of this pigment isn't gonna, like these strokes will be really, really light. In guy brows, we really want to keep this more soft and airy and spaced. I like how I'm calling them guy brows instead of man brows. That works. Okay, just a few more and we're good. Just gonna do one more through here and we're good, sorry.
No worries.
Sweet. That should be enough to open the skin enough to get him really nice and numb. Just gonna use my finger around a water wipe just to twist and pull off a little bit of this pigment. And we'll put on our numbing. Same thing on this side, and I'm gonna do my best to follow. There's a little bit more natural hair in this brow, so I'm gonna do my best to follow that too. Work those in there. And again, moving forward as I'm pricking, and it's just down and flick forward. I have a mini pixel blending course that is free. If you want to, if you haven't taken a pixel blending course before, please at least take this one. Before watching this video. It's a little bit more advanced. And see, this hair is like this, so I'm just gonna mimic this. I also have a custom flow course if you want to learn more about doing a custom flow pattern for each client, which I do. Sorry, I'm like,
no worries.
I swear the worst part of this is me poking people in the eye. You gotta get a good stretch. So close. Just a few more. Sweet. Okay, and that'll just be our little bit of a spine here on these brows. On this brow. Well, I guess I did on both sides, so it is these. Okay, so I'm gonna just do the same thing and then throw numbing cream on this for 10 minutes and then we'll get going. Okay, so we take our brow foam and we tap here, tap in the center, and then you're going to tap around it like this. The numbing cream should only go on the interior of your outline. It actually, the numbness spreads up and down about a ½ inch. And it definitely works best if you prick the skin just a little bit. You don't have to do it with pigment like we did, but what I really want you to see is how thick it is off of the skin here. So it should be a solid like 2 to 3 millimeters up off the skin like this. But again, you don't have to, sometimes I'll see people apply numbing cream like this wide. The depth is what's important, not the width. Okie doke. And if you just use the back of a micro swab, a Q-tip, whatever, to remove the numbing cream. It's the best way to do it. Put this on a little thicker than I needed to. Usually I do about an ink ring and overflowing ink ring, and this is more like 2 ink rings, but I'm not used to having their eyebrows plucked, etc. So just in case they're more sensitive, I felt like it'd be a good idea. Okay, so a lot of times I'll do finger, and pull up onto the brow bone, and then I'll use this entire length of my pinky. So instead of kind of 3-finger stretch like this, I'll actually go like this. And again, pricking forward. Just gonna reiterate these strokes first. I love eyebrows because it's just like really artistic. This is my favorite. I actually also really love working with brows with like no hair because it's so easy to see your pattern. It's easier to work more clean. This hair kind of starts to curve here, so I'm just gonna follow that. Hey, how are you doing paint-wise?
I don't feel anything.
Yay! Okay, just keep me posted. I'll renumb as needed.
Okay.
So I'm just laying in some basic like exterior kind of spiny strokes, and then we'll go through and fill it all up. I definitely like to have a less is more approach with male eyebrows because I want to keep it light and airy so that it doesn't you know, healed, and then especially yours out just look like one big powdery thing. And pixel blading stays cleaner longer. So these I want kind of a sweeping shape, so it kind of comes like this and then curves. So it's going to be like here, and then you can see kind of almost making that little SE shape, and it's going to give it just a little bit more of a messy look. A lot of Euro patterns do this and utilize this, and I love it. Kind of machine strokey. A lot of people do this with machine strokes. And you want these to kind of sometimes feel a little wavy, sometimes be really straight, some curvy, just to give it a lot of texture and imperfections in there. And that's what's going to help make it look more natural and more of a guy brow. So again, going with kind of a wavy shape to the stroke. I love the artistry of doing male eyebrows. It's so much fun. So I'm gonna have this come like this and kind of do an S. So I'm gonna tap it this way, but then I'll implant the pigment by reversing it. So it's gonna kind of go here and then start curving. And then again curve here. I'll reiterate it back this way. I'm gonna have this go like this. Again like this. And then kind of a sharp turn, kind of S shape. And again, reverse back over to really get that pigment in there. And reverse. I'm gonna leave this center area for a minute. There we go, that'll be a good curve in there. Yeah, get some waviness to them and then mix it with some super straight lines. So I'm gonna do this one just super straight. And connect. And then have this one dip a little lower. Do the same thing here. I'll do one straight one. And I'll have this curve. Okay, I just want to make sure we get in this little archy spot, and then after that we'll call it in the sprout. And obviously we need to build into this tail a lot more, but it's a good starting point. Sorry, I got a little bit messy, guys. So we're just gonna Actually, I kind of want to remove my outline now. So if we're gonna remove the outline, then you take some of your pigment and you put it on top of this as well. And then we'll let this sit for just a minute while we're doing the other brow. Then we'll wipe it all off. I decided to be impatient and wipe this off. Two reasons. A, I want to make sure that the depth was correct. So, like the pigment's coming through the skin really well. Because if it's not, then I want to go ahead and, oh yeah, no, that went in there. I was going to say then up the pressure a little bit on this other side. Okay, so, the map block, I keep calling it that, Seal Me. We redid it Seal Me. So you actually have to grab it and peel it off. See? Boop, 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 boop. So, but it does loosen it off the skin to put the pigment on top of it. And then I'm gonna numb it, and then after we wipe off the numbing, we should be good on this brow. So this is just secondary numbing here, and we're just gonna load it up. And put just a little bit on top of this to make sure it comes off. And if you don't purposely put pigment on top of the outline, and don't peel off the Seal Me until later. You really can have this outline last and last, but I don't want the exterior of these brows to be too perfect, so that's why I want to remove the outline sooner than later. And we are going to take this and occlude it just to help them get more numb. And I'll flip this over. Another trick to working cleanly, I just use my water wipe just to wipe off both sides of the blade. We'll just do the same thing on this other side. The strokes are in there pretty well, but oh look, I've already got a splotchy, messy stroke. That's great. And you don't want a matching pattern left to right, guys. Like, you know, women's brows, you want to strive for like perfect symmetry. Granted, I still do 2 different patterns side to side because you know, I want to follow their natural hair flow, but for men's especially, again, working in some kind of S curvies. So see how this is kind of like a S, and then working in some really straight hairs, and that's what's gonna help. I still do this in a way that it follows their natural flow. He doesn't have a ton of natural hair, but the hair that he does have, we want to work in. And it'll go like this. Add a nice kind of curvy to it. This one kind of comes more sharp, straight, which is great. This one too. And this will kind of have it come up and over. Sorry, I kind of get in the zone and get quiet sometimes with this stuff. This is where you do have to have just like some level of artistry. You can definitely, you know, practice different male patterns, but at the end of the day, like, you still just gotta have some artistry with it. Men's brows are not for beginners, that's for sure. By the way, I don't know why I didn't mention this yet. I am using my original Shade Me blade, original pixel blade. Because the teeth are just a little bit more spaced, so it's going to get the pigment just a little bit deeper. When you pinch the skin, you can kind of feel how thick that layer underneath the skin is. And his skin just felt a tiny bit thick, and so I just want to make sure that otherwise I would have gone with a Pixel Me blade, probably Pixel Me Curve. But because of his skin type, I wanted to go up a blade size. And yes, you can absolutely pixel blade with the Shade Me blade. It just goes a little bit deeper. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this off and then keep going. And I don't care if this outline comes off, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of be rough about it. But if you blot and then twist, it keeps the outline like really, really crisp if you weren't doing a nail brow. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna get one kind of tall stroke in here. Tall stroke in here. I'm gonna do these ones really straight. I'm going to do a few just kind of in the body of the brow. And then kind of Y off of it. And I'm still utilizing the same Ys and Vs from my Stroke Flow Boot Camp, Custom Flow Boot Camp, but you're just having some of these again be a little more wavy, SE, and then some of these being a little more, so we're gonna go, and then have some of them be a little more straight. And just reiterating these S strokes we put in here. And these super straight ones over here. And the Y right here. And tie this stroke into this stroke. And get us a tall one kind of right in here. Okay, should be good for this first pass on this brow. Okay, so we're just cleaning off this brow, then we'll put some numbing on it. I'm gonna try to get off all our outline real quick. And there we go, it's not bad for our shape. I'll try to remove the outline on this one too. Okay, so here's where we're at so far. Definitely need to build more into this right brow, but we've got some good texture and shape going on. Definitely want to make sure we get enough into that arch. These strokes up here are really light, but the centers are looking fluffy, not too perfect. I'm also going to add a second color in there just to give these a real hyper realistic look, but we'll just keep on going. Just gonna reiterate a few of these. I'm gonna really wipe as I go now, just so I can keep an eye on how it's progressing. keeping with this S pattern. So again, it's kind of coming like this. And we'll kind of do some sharper strokes upwards that are just really straight. Just reiterating these as well. This edge just stayed real messy. I love it. Just like this, these kind of straight strokes like this. We'll do the same thing here. Straighter stroke, and this kind of curved S-y like this, like, it was working so clean until that one. That's okay. Okay, now I just got to build this center a little bit. Gonna have these mainly come downwards. Gonna have some kind of messier ones here. I'm just gonna get this a little bit more sharp. Sorry, I'm like really in the zone here by getting quiet. Something is gonna happen here, but I'm gonna wipe first and see. Sorry, I'm being so quiet, guys. This is just like in the zone with this. Okay. We'll wipe one more time. And we'll take a break on this brow, put some more secondary numbing on there. And then when we come back at it, we're actually going to use a different color. So right now this is almost black, and we're going to move down to the darkest brown. And just the same thing. Reiterating a little bit. We are getting so close. This is exciting. I'm trying to decide if I want, I'm going to reiterate these, and then I'll decide on these last few kind of blendery ones. Actually, I know for sure I want this to light off here. I want to see this will go like here-ish. Okay, I think this is all we're gonna do for the darker color, but just to make them look a little softer, we're gonna go through and add a lighter brown in between in the center. It'll also just help give it a little bit more dimension. Super excited. Okay, so we're just adding this in between some hairs selectively, and again in a little bit lighter tone. This is our darkest brown. So for example, in between these strokes here, we're just gonna add dot dot, that's it. Dot dot, that's it. Just really, really subtle, really selectively, just to build some density and texture in the center of this brow. And I can't wait to show you the 3D effect that this is gonna create. Especially having it be a different color. I don't know if you can see already how this is just going to come together. And just in between here, between here. And this helps the edges look more messy too, which also helps with our man brows. I could be wrong, but I think we're going to be done now. Really lightly through here, and I'm just going to do like prick, 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 prick. Just a dusting through the center because I want to keep that really light and airy. And I think we're done. So now I'm just going to rub it in a little bit. For my final ink mask, I like to apply aftercare. This is my Heal Me, and I actually send this home with the client as well. Maybe if I can open it. So I just add a drop or two and just apply that with our final ink mask, and it just helps stop lymph fluid before you even send them out the door. And just same thing in between these strokes. What we're wanting to do is build density in the center of the brow. You want really specific strokes on the edges to give it that little bit of a messy look. But through the center, we want to build this more full and dense. So that's why we're adding this through the center. But make sure to leave the edges messy, otherwise it's gonna start to look girly and too filled in. Less is more with this. Prick, 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 prick. And because we don't want this to be soft, we want to really see these little pixel dots because it'll look like little hair follicles. You don't want to dilute this, but what you do want to do is go a shade lighter. You can even go 2 shades lighter really, but guys, I think we did it. And we'll just wipe off and do our final reveal. Thanks for following. This was so much fun. Hope you learned something. I definitely had fun. Have a good day, guys.